Hey. Hey guys, welcome to your Pilates conditioning. And I can't wait to share this with you this morning. Or whether you're watching it later. So we'll get started. We're going to stand up to start with, just a bit of mobility, and then we'll hit the mat. So come on up. I will adjust that screen. Let's come up, take a breath. And exhale over to the side. Inhale, straighten up. Exhale over to the other side. Inhale, let's exhale that down. Get a little bit of curve through the top of the spine. And then just come back up, take another breath. We'll work through the spine little bit by little bit. Inhale, up, stretch. Exhale over to the side. Inhale, exhale over to the other side. Inhale up, exhale down, and a little bit more curve through the spine. Soften at the knees, soften at the hips. Those fingertips get down to about your knees. And arch, come through the spine. Another breath in. Exhale over. Maybe there's a little bit further there now. Keep those shoulders down away from your ears. Over to the other side, following your breath today. Have a great class. Inhale, exhale down. Let's go. Roll all the way down to touch the floor. Rolling down, vertebra by vertebra, and rolling back up. On the next inhale, we're going to cut out that side bend and just go straight down. So inhale, lift. And then exhale, arms out to the side, head rolling forward. Let's come rolling down and come out to our all fours. So walking out to your all fours, straight out to your all fours, and come into a cat and cow. So give ourselves a nice little spine massage. Really getting into the awareness of the body, connecting in with yourself. Take some hip circles, circle through the hips. Go as gently as you need or as dynamic as you need. Taking care of the weakest link in your body, whether that's an injury, whether that's recovering postnatally. So you're listening to your body and making sure you're supporting yourself from the core and then moving from there today. Beautiful. And let's do a little rest back into your child's pose. Take your knees as wide as you like for a nice little bit of an opening through the groin. Breathe it out, softening through the hips as you breathe that out. Arriving fully into your body, tuning into yourself, how you feel, how you listen. Last breath here, relaxing, releasing through the pelvic floor, through the tummy. And your last breath, let's inhale, come back up, walk your hands in under your shoulders, bring your knees underneath, and let's walk to our dog pose. So tucking the tail, tucking the toes, lifting the tail, stretching out, opening the chest here. Take a breath. On your next inhale, bringing yourself to look up, and exhale, bring your foot through your hands. We're going to come to a nice little lunge and sink into opening through this hip. Beautiful. If you want to, take this arm back and add a little twist through the upper body. If you are postnatal, you're not going to do that. You're going to stay facing forwards and you might be in a slightly smaller bend. You can always get into a stretch at the front of the hips lying down as well if you are earlier postnatal, always remembering that tip. And if you're open, the little twist coming back. Let's bring ourselves just into a nice open arm up. Tuck that tail to support the spine and bringing it down. We're going to bring the feet together. Taking ourselves with the other leg back, let's step it back into the opposite side lunge. Beautiful. Again, if you want to, as you inhale here, open the chest. Take a little twist through the spine or stay facing forwards, sinking in here, breathing and making sure that we're not tucking all the way, poking all the way. Give it just a gentle tuck to protect the lumbar spine. Hopefully you're warming up. I am warming up. Let's go from here, taking that exhale, coming back forwards. Inhale up. Take it out to the sides, that nice breath in. Remember to keep that tail a little bit tucked. And then coming forwards, feet together. Let's soften through the knees and breathe that one up. And breathe it out. roll the shoulders. We're going to hit the mat in just a moment. So let's take our feet a little bit wider apart and let's take a little soften to one side and soften to one side. If this isn't for you, stay with your feet together and soften down to the front. So just softening with your feet together if you're not opening through any pelvic girdle issues. Just softening down. And if you want to, you could do a gentle one either side. So we're just going to finish up with this slightly dynamic warming through the hips, feeling it down the backs of the legs. And last 3 and 2 and 1. And let's bring ourselves over and come down to the mat, and I'll bring my screen down with me. We're going to go onto our backs and we're going to come into our first bit of core work. Our core work, we're going to come down to our foundation. We're going to come to really switch on through the transverse abdominis. We want the hip sockets to be really facing and shining the torches right up to the ceiling and staying straight. So hips staying straight, drawing these muscles across. You can have your head on the mat. I'm looking to make sure that I can see what my body's doing here. So we're going to keep this nice and stable, drawn in, releasing here. We're going to wrap in through the core, have a slight curve at the back. We're going to start with our knee dropouts. So our knee dropouts can start here with our feet on the mat, staying nice and gentle. If you're in a gentler practice today. Otherwise, float again, suck in, float to your tabletop and do knee dropouts in tabletop. So we're trying to keep that pelvis quiet as we do knee dropouts. Great job. And this isn't so much about the flexibility in the hips. This is about maintaining the deep integrity of the core muscles. So through the back, sideways, wrapping into the front, goes all the way down to the pubic bone, up to the ribs. So really bringing some attention to this corset muscle. It's not the muscles that bend us forwards. It's the muscles that stabilize the spine and the pelvic floor. And so it's all of these deep muscles and they need to draw in this way, like a corset. Just imagining those old Victorian era corsets drawing in just with your mind, those deep tummy muscles as we do this exercise. Remember, on feet on the floor or in tabletop. Last 10 seconds. You want to make sure again as we go into our core work that of course your pelvic floor is switching on before anything else, guys. You know the deal. Pelvic floor first. And last 3 seconds. And then we're going to stay here and take a different variation. So bring your knees to your chest for a breath, or put your feet on the floor, or just take a nice softening where you are. Now we're floating our feet back to tabletop, or bringing them to tabletop if you weren't there before. In this exercise, we're going to toe tap. Now, my bed is there, so you might toe tap your bed if you're in the same room as your bed as well. Otherwise, give yourself some more space so that you can actually tap down to the floor. Again here, keeping this check on that the tummy is really drawing down away from your hands. We don't want to be squidging, that's a technical term, squidging our back and everything into the floor. We do want to support on a more modern Pilates core, supporting in the normal posture. So there'd be a small arch to the back, normal lumbar curvature, and then staying stable there. If this is at all feeling like you are doming, if you are here and you are a postnatal client, you've come to this somewhere on the interwebs, then you are going to be perhaps going into this exercise one leg at a time, making sure that you can recruit all of those muscles before you lift your leg. Recruit all those muscles before you lift your leg. Or vice versa, one leg, bring it back, check, reset, one leg, bring it back. Anyone still going? Keep it going. Last 10 seconds. Good job keeping that core nice and stable. And we're going to finish with a little twist. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's bring both feet up. Take your hands out to the side now, and we're going to take a gentle spinal twist. So again, take this gently. Anyone with a diastasis would not do this. Give yourself a little neck roll. Give yourself another version of the earlier knee dropouts if you do have a diastasis through the midline. So that's a tummy separation if you're postnatal. Otherwise, here working these obliques as we bring our legs over and draw them back. Inhale as you open the chest. Exhale as you use those muscles to pull you back. Inhale, exhale as they pull back. Again, go at your pace. Go smaller, go bigger, but to look after your lumbar spine and the spine muscles. Let's let those shoulders anchor into your mat for your last 5, 4, 3, 2, and last 1. Beautiful work. Nice little warm up there through the spine. Let's take those feet back to the mat and give yourself a little windscreen wipers, I call these. Dropping them from side to side. And a little shake off through the hips. Nice work. So we can always return to these exercises if you are earlier postnatal and you're not going to do any curl-ups in whenever I mention curl-ups, you can come back to these core exercises or variations. So we're going to go into our all fours now. So roll yourself over and come to your all fours. You need to know that you might see me modify it slightly because my right arm is a little bit sore. But you do you and I'll do me. And we're going to start off with a bit of this nice core work, finding some stability, and then we're going to go into some more glutes. So let's tuck our toes and let's start with some little knee drops if you want to, or stay in that nice bear hover. Personally, I like a little bit of movement and it helps actually recruit the muscles, keeps you interested in the exercise. And, you know, if anyone needs to, you can take that rest at the bottom, in between the lifts. And anyone who wants to challenge themselves to stay in that little lift now, we're going to stay here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful work. Dropping those knees, we're going to go into single leg extensions. Now you can keep these low. What's important is that you're long through the spine, and so this tummy is feeling like it's lifting. I don't want to see the arch in the back. Yeah. So you want to make sure that when you're doing your core work here, that whenever you're extending your leg, that your core is supporting. Often, if again you've come to this video via postnatal exercise and recovery in Pilates, then you want to know that as you lift that leg, this is what's going to be the weakest link, is those tummy muscles. That thigh is being heavy. So make sure that you're lifting it only as high as you can keep those tummy muscles on, and it builds over time. Anyone who's working here feeling super good, we're going to add on with our arms, of course, and double pulse at the top. So you're taking that a little bit further now, adding on with that double pulse at the top. And then we're going to kick over to staying on the right leg in a moment. But we've got our last 10 seconds. Beautiful. Have you got some nice little tunes on there for yourself this morning? Last 5 seconds. Getting those glutes firing, tummy firing, and finishing it off. Last side. Great job, everyone. Coming down, we're going to stick to our right leg. So taking our right leg, finishing this with 8 and 7. Bring it in to touch kind of towards the elbow. 6, 5. It swings in, pushes out. Beautiful. 3 and 2. And 1. Let's hold it here. Give a little pulse. Straight. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend at the knee, and we're going to do that. In, press it back. Little donkey kick. In, press it back. Great job. Let's keep that going. You can make it smaller if you want. That's going to help you today to keep those tummy muscles firing in the right way. your emergency. I hope that you are getting some time for yourself to listen to your body when you're doing this video. Find that breath. Enjoy the blood pumping. Enjoy the freedom of moving. Beautiful. With our last 10 seconds. Nice. Let's finish, if you want to, with little pulse kicks to the ceiling. Beautiful. Last 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Good job. We're going to take that leg out long when you're ready, and we're going to go for some rainbows, which means we're going to take it over and back, over and back. If you feel like you don't have enough space, then bring that knee in and back. And also you can take that knee off the floor if you don't have enough space. And also this is a good version and variation. It's a bit gentler. Take a pause, lift, squeeze, lift, come back. Lift, squeeze, lift, come back. This is quite good for those adductors as you do that nice squeeze in. Otherwise, you've got those rainbows, guys, if you're still going. Awesome job. And of course, you can point or flex the foot, what works for you. My hips do move around a little bit, and it is getting into the hip that is stabilizing. So that is a normal feeling, to feel the burn, not just in this glute that maybe is moving, but in the glute of the supporting leg. That is a natural feeling to have. Beautiful. Last 3 and 2 and 1. Good job. Now, for anyone who's got anything left, you can do a little press up here. So if anyone's come to class going, I want a hard class today, finish off with 10 push-ups. For the rest of us, bring those knees in and let's take a rest back. And just softening through those glutes, waiting for that 5. Anyone who's got those push-ups going, 5 left. Great work, everyone, wherever you're working today, whether you're working at a more restful pace or whether you're taking it up and wanting to give yourself a bit more of a challenge, and we all have strengths in different areas. So last breath there. You finish those push-ups if you were doing them. Let's take a breath. You're in child's pose. I'll give those shoulders a roll now. Beautiful. And we're going to come back over to being on our back. So coming to be on our back, we're going to go for a little bit more of an advancement in our core work. And I'm going to get you again to remember, if you're postnatal, you're not going to be curling up. So make those adjustments to keep your head on the mat. Let's start. We're going to come back down into our core. We're going to start with our leg extensions. So bringing ourselves back to our tabletop position, wrapping in through the core, pelvic floor on. And if you want to, if you do happen to have any hand weights nearby, feel free to grab your hand weights. But you do not at all have to, but they can be a little bit closer to you now. And we're going to go for this leg extension back. Now you can take just hands overhead, leg extension, add arms. So single leg. Anybody who does use weights, you can be doing this exercise with that little hand weight, little bit of tension through, a bit more through the core. This, of course, always adds tension. So if you're postnatal, you don't need that extra tension. In the earlier phases, just work body weight. That's up to the first 3 months, just body weight through for your core work. So we're really getting that recovery. Beautiful. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Let's go for our last 10 seconds. Nice double leg extensions. Alternating arm leg extensions, sorry. And last 5 seconds. Staying at your pace, of course, and remembering to finish this off with really good form. Bring those knees to your chest. Nice work. Place your feet back on the ground. We are going to do a small curl up through the top of the chest. Anyone who's working harder, you can take one weight to the top of the chest to add on, or also extend the arms with that weight in your arms. That can make it a little bit easier. Now, I want you to remember again, pelvic floor must be able to support this. So this exercise is never done when you are earlier than 3 or 4 months postnatal. And then you have to have the right integrity through the tummy and pelvic floor. So if you've had multiple children, then you may take much longer than that 3 or 4 month mark. So that pelvic floor must sustain as you curl up. If that's not for you, remember, come back simply to head on the mat, come to your toe taps, or stick with some variations of those leg extensions or knee dropouts. Pick one that you like. Let's exhale. Inhale down. Remember that exhale lifts the pelvic floor as we curl up. Last 5 seconds. Beautiful work. Try and keep the head on top. Try and take the tension out. Last 1 and release. Release that neck and give a shake through the hips and through the head wherever you're at, whatever exercise you did. Take a breath into the belly, release the pelvic floor, release that belly, and then as you exhale, see if you can feel a little bit of that lift through that pelvic floor. Inhale, inhale, let that pelvic floor release. Exhale, pelvic floor switches on, tummy switches on. That's a nice deep reset breath. Let's take ourselves to bring our knees into chest, and we're going to roll up. If you do not like rolling up, you're going to roll to the side, early postnatal, come to sitting. Otherwise, rock and roll to sitting. And if you like a back massage on the way, take a couple more and sitting up. From our sitting up position today, we're going to take roll downs. Now, in our roll downs, you can hold the back of your leg and exhale, curl back, and inhale, sit up. This happens from the tucking of the tail, deep C curve, not going back too far, again, earlier postnatal or looking after your core or pelvic floor. And otherwise, coming all the way down and then coming all the way up. Anybody who wants to add hand weights, you can, if that's your thing. Sometimes that extra little weight, as I said, can actually give you that little leeway to lift up a bit easier. So let's keep going with your version of your rollbacks. So halfway back or all the way back. Follow the breath. Inhale at the top. Exhale, going down. Inhale at the top. Exhale as you go down. That's the way, coming. And if you're doing that full one to the bottom, you've got an extra inhale, and then you exhale as that curl comes up. Beautiful. Last 10 seconds on whichever variation you've been doing. Beautiful. Keeping your form. Last 5 seconds. Great job. And 3, 2, 1. Nice work. Let's bring ourselves all the way back down to the mat. So again, come to the side or rolling back. Let's come to our next and last exercise for those leg extensions. So we're going to take, if you want to, hand weights overhead, and then we're going to lengthen a little bit, and we're going to do a tricep press as we do our legs. So we go back and we're going to extend and then bring them back in. Extend and bring them back in. You can do this, ladies, with your head on your mat. Absolutely. You can also do this with just with a pillow as a little bit of proprioceptive help. You could do this with a can, shampoo bottle. Probably don't want to use a shampoo bottle. But you could use something there to give you that feeling of holding, keeping those elbows in. You see, that's one of the main things here we're doing, is keeping those elbows in, close into the head for that tricep press, and just adding that little challenge. Remember, keeping those toes further to the ceiling. If you've got less control through the core, the more core control, straighten it out further towards the wall or the floor. Let's go for our last 10 seconds. Beautiful, keep it rolling. And keep it breathing for your last 5, 4, 3, 2, and last 1. Beautiful. Bring those knees in if you want to. Stay with them in tabletop. And we're going to add a little lift and lower. Anyone who is going further than this can go up to tap their ankles. People who are postnatal, obviously this is really forcing motion down to that pelvic floor. So you're going to keep it again back to maybe now this time your knee dropouts if you didn't do them before. Let's keep that rolling. And we've got our last 10 seconds, not so many here. Beautiful. Early postnatal people, take a rest. And the rest of us, if you've got it, let's pulse it out here. For your last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you've got it, hold it up. If you've got it, pulse through those arms. Anyone who wants to add on, this is the last time we're coming to this exercise. If you have that core control, you're here for a more advanced class. Take those legs straight as we pulse this out. Take a little wriggle if you're just watching us. We'll be finished in just a moment in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Wonderful. So there's our core work on the back. We're going to come back around to our glutes. So a little bit of glutes today. And we're going to come to the side where we were not on before. So we're coming around now to your left leg and you're coming to all fours for starting a little bit with that tuck the toes. Let's go for a little hover. So this time in your hover, if you want to add on, toe tap out to the side. Good job. Anybody else, you want a different challenge, you might be tapping your shoulders if you don't want to tap the feet out to the side. Or if neither of those are right for you, remember we were back here. Drop the knees, then lift the knees. Beautiful. Last 10 seconds. Toe taps, shoulder taps, whichever version you like, guys. And last 3, and 2, and 1. Nice job. So now let's go straight into our left side. So our left side, we did do a lot of alternate legs on the other side. So let's go straight into our little kick on this side to even out. So we've got that knee coming in a bit further and pressing back nice and high. Focusing on getting those glutes working and the core stabilizing. So remember, keep it low if you need. And keep this rocking. Keep that chest nice and open. Spine nice and long. Lifted between the shoulder blades so that we're not sinking here between those shoulder blades. So that can happen too. You want that, the spine pressing up, lifting between. Last 10 seconds here. Beautiful. And last 3, and 2, and 1. We're going to hold here, and we did 10 lifts. Little pulse lifts here, straight up to the ceiling behind. Core control on, 2, and 1. And then we're going to bend that leg. And now we're going into those little donkey kicks. Again, you can do this with your foot flexed or pointed, but here, try and stay stable through that core. And yes, your hips are going to be challenged. The hips are challenged, and also your that glute on that side. So anyone who's got any of that pelvic instability, you know that you need to be adjusting. So major pelvic instability that feels really a lot of discomfort through the sacroiliac joint, through the pubic bone, this would not be for you. You would be going to arm work, yeah? Sorry, I didn't mention that before, but that is something, if you are in that postnatal phase where those hips are still too tender, this class has got progressions, but we are doing a lot of single leg here. So just in case that is you with any pelvic girdle pain, sorry, then our knee press there, donkey kicks. Yeah, so just in case that is you or you're fatigued now, you can go on to those arm works. We're going to press this up to the ceiling to finish off. Remember, guys, Yeah, you got it. Pressing up to the ceiling, try and get that core control. That glute is starting to get tired. Nice. And we'll be finished soon. So we've got 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Remember here, we're going to stay out straight and go into our rainbows. For anyone that didn't have space or that wants to keep it smaller, you're going to bend your leg. And that bent leg 1 squeezes over, comes back to all fours, squeezes over, comes back to all fours. Or we've got the rainbow, tapping out and tapping over. And yes, both of your hips will be feeling tired. That stabilizer. Woo. Nice work, guys. You're doing great. We're nearly done for today. Hope I'm running to time. Last 10 seconds, whichever version, finishing it off with poise and control and breath. And last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Anybody remember, anyone? There was some people maybe that were left that felt like finishing that with a little push up with that leg up. Elbows in or elbows, arms out wide, and finishing that off. The last 5, if you've got it, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And you get to rest it back. Nice work. Nice work, guys. Thank you for a great class. Going to finish up with a little shoulder roll. And we're going to go over onto our backs for a little glute, double glute, and then into a nice stretch through the thighs. So rolling ourselves down, last one. Coming into our little roll-ups, opening through the midline. Coming back down, over, and coming down. Now, if you want to start winding down, then go a little bit more gently. Otherwise, let's press it up and down, up and down. We're getting this double squeeze on the glutes today. We're going for 10 more seconds. And then we're going to go for those pulses at the top in 3, 2, 1. Pulse lift, so pulse squeezes. Some people really like to feel the pelvic floor firing here as well. So you can keep that squeeze on through the pelvic floor, or maybe integrate that exercise if you're going a little bit slower with these pulses. Pressing through the toes, bringing the ribs down perhaps a little to make sure they're joining up to the top of the pelvis. Beautiful. Breathe, feel your body for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Anyone who's got anything left to hold it at the top, take a nice breath. Keep it strong for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And lowering it down. Nice work finishing off there through the glutes. Let's take one leg up, take a stretch to the side and bring that leg in. So a stretch through the glutes now. If you don't have any concerns about your tummy and a diastasis, why don't we rock this over to the side? It's a fun one to give a little twist, to get a stretch down here through the outside of that leg and the hip and glute. Does give a little twist through the lumbar, so make sure it feels right for you. Coming back to center, let's swap those legs over. Other leg on top and bring it in a little bit. Feel that release there through the glutes. Done a little bit of glute work today. If you wanted to, drop that to the side. Great. And releasing into it. Soften with your mind. Keep your mind here with us as long as you can. Hopefully that's right to the end of the class. Beautiful. And then we're going to come back up. Nice. And we're going to rock around. So take those knees, roll around to this side, and we're going to come into our one leg forward. So press onto your all fours, bring your right leg through, and we're going to take a little stretch through forwards and then rock back and stretch to the back. Again, a little rock forwards and a little stretch to the back. So I've got a little bend forwards to get this hip opening and then a stretch back to get that stretch through the hamstring. And the back through to the calf. That's why I pull my toes up. Pulling those toes up, it gets more of that stretch through the fascia, the ligaments and nerves, as well as those juicy muscles on the back of the thigh. On our next one, forwards, if you want to, if it's comfortable for you, then take yourself in a little twist. Open that arm up. And coming back down. Let's swap sides, bringing your left leg through. Again here, this is finishing off, softening through those hips and also getting that stretch through that hamstring. So take a variation that feels right for you. Certainly earlier postnatal, this will be feeling too dynamic, potentially through the hips, so you'll be going a lot slower. You also, while you guys are still rocking and rolling, I'll just show a side lying stretch. So if you're side lying, bringing your knees together, if you're earlier postnatal, you're looking after your core, or that pelvis is feeling too much, you can take a nice hip opener and front thigh opener by grabbing the foot and pulling it back. This way, keeping it together, not going into that pubic bone. So finishing that one off, guys. Remember, we finished forwards. And then if you wanted to, you took a twist, you opened your arm up and took it up to the ceiling if you wanted. You could just keep this on the hand and the hip. Remember your variations, guys. What's right for you? Inhale and exhale. Soften there for a moment. Finishing it off, we bring that hand back down and around and come to bring our knees back together and soften down. Let's roll the shoulders. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a real pleasure being here with you. Have a fantastic rest of your day, whether it's the morning or the night, and I'll see you next time. My name's Dominique. Thanks for joining me for Pilates.